Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've been wanting to make this video for a little bit now. I have been starting to compile a lot of information about Diablo Immortal, which is dropping. So I have been watching several YouTubers, reading a lot of articles, and posting a lot of the information into the Discord, into our Diablo Immortal channel for everyone to kind of absorb. You know, a lot of the people that are going to be playing with me are people who played with me in Marvel Future Revolution. It seems like a lot of people from Marvel Future Revolution are planning to go over to Diablo, so I thought it would be a good idea to kind of compile a lot of information and kind of prepare everyone for the kind of game that Diablo Immortal is going to be. So, as you guys may or may not be aware, Diablo Immortal is going to be a dungeon crawl. It is not technically an MMORPG. That is the first thing to understand about this. It's basically just massive amounts of mobs. You go through the campaign, you do PvP. It's going to seem similar in that regard. But it is also going to be different, and I see Thaler's posting memes. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the classes first. The first thing I want everyone to understand, that when you put together your parties, whoever you're going to be playing with, it's really important that everyone has a different class. Now, of course, some classes are going to be doubled up, but you really want every class to be represented in your team. Now, this is going to kind of suck because everyone is going to want to be a certain character. So, you might want to think about this. Whoever you're planning on playing with, talk this out. We've been talking out in my Discord. And by the way, if you do want to come and game with us, definitely jump into our Discord and say, hey, I'm interested as well. We are looking to build our guild for the game that is coming up. So I'm going to talk about the classes, and then I'm going to talk about the rumored class that is also going to be appearing in the launch. So the first one we have is Barbarian. Barbarian is very well known for Diablo players who played on PC and console. Melee character, great AoE. As you can kind of see right here, it says your favorite massive melee fighter makes an appearance in Diablo Immortal in all its gory glory. A couple of the skills that the Barbarian is going to be coming with, a couple of things to understand. So much of this game is going to be focused on mobs. The Barbarian has probably one of the best AoE damage abilities. However, it's melee, so you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So when you're going up against those bosses, you're going to be taking that damage, that full on. So you're not going to be a ranger, and you're not going to be able to, get away from that damage output that's coming at you. I don't see him as a tank. I see the Crusader more as the tanky role because he has support abilities. The Barbarian is just going to do massive damage and probably take massive damage as well. The next character we're going to have is the Crusader. The Crusader is probably, as the beta ended, probably the best character in the meta so far. But as we know with new games, this is going to ebb and flow. Characters are going to be nerfed, characters are going to be buffed. So just because the Crusader is really good right now does not mean that the Crusader is going to be very good. So you really want to choose the character that you want to play. The Crusader is it is going to do massive AoE, it's going to be melee, but he's also going to have support abilities, or she. So we're looking at armor, we're looking at support, and we're looking at melee damage. The Crusader, like I said, is definitely top of the game right now, and I'm kind of curious to see where this is going to go. The next class is probably what I'm going to do. It's the Demon Hunter. If you're aware with this class, because this class is not new to Diablo at all, it is a ranger, dual crossbows, They do a lot of ranged attack. The thing to know about the Demon Hunter, it is the number one highest DPS character in the game. The problem with the Demon Hunter is it doesn't do AoE. And there's so many mobs in this game. And when it comes to PvP, it's like 80v80. So it's like so many people. So AoE actually does really well. But the Demon Hunter can fire at a range, and it has a single highest damage to single targets. So think about bosses. Think about these big bosses we're going to be taking on. The Demon Hunter is going to be able to probably score a lot of DPS on that. So you're going to be suffering a lot of defense because you're ranged. So this is going to be a good class. If you like an assassin or a rogue type, this is the character you're going to want to play with. The next is the monk. I didn't think too much about the monk because it's melee, but it's a teleporter. And I was trying to think of how this would get used in the game. And there's actually a really good mode for the monk that I'm going to go into further down the list. But just keep that in mind. The monk is going to be, I believe, let's see, could be melee, a little bit ranged, and teleporting to the opponent. The Necromancer. The Necromancer is a hugely popular character. If you've played Diablo in the past, you know the Necromancer is like cheat mode. It is definitely not the same way. As far as the beta went, the Necromancer was not the best character. Now, the Necromancer has a lot of pets, so it can do a lot of summons, and those summons can actually help its, DPS output. However, from what some of the beta players were saying, that actually tapers off mid to end game. So in the beginning of the game, the Necromancer does really well, and you're gonna think you're doing a really good job with the Necromancer, and then that's gonna taper off, and you're gonna come into that dread of why did I choose the Necromancer. So choose a Necromancer at your own choosing. Keep in mind though that all these characters are subject to nerfs and buffs, and we don't really know where the meta is going to end up 6 months, a year, 2 years from launch. The next class is the Wizard. So the Wizard is AoE. Think about Storm when it comes to the Wizard, if you're familiar with MFR. So they're going to be able to teleport. They're going to send down meteors and definitely hurl balls of lightning in all directions. The Wizard is probably the weakest on defense, and so you're going to have to play a really defensive game and run backward and just keep shooting. And the nice thing is you're ranged, so you're not taking that full frontal damage that your more melee characters are going to be doing. However, if you take a hit, you're going to go down really quick. This is the tier list as it stood with the beta. Both alpha and in beta seasons players played. This is actually, let me just scroll down a little bit. This is from Echo Hack. So this is Echo's tier list. And he rated the Demon Hunter, Barbarian, and Crusader as S tier characters. The Monk, Necromancer, and Wizard were A tier characters. Notice he didn't list anyone absolutely horrible, so all these characters are going to be really good. Now this is going to be single target for the Demon Hunter, and then AoE is going to be the Crusader. So all these characters are going to, be on the breadth of single target or AoE. The game is going to be focused a lot on mobs, so keep that in mind. So even though it's focused on mobs, you're going to have a lot of big bosses that you're going to want to use that high DPS on single targets as well. So the first video, I will share this in the description down below, is Echo Hack's video on the best class in Diablo Immortal. A lot of the information I shared with you today is from his video, but I still recommend you going and checking it out. And then I have another video here from Echo Gaming, and this is a different Echo, talking about the top 10 mistakes you should not make in Diablo Immortal. And when I watched this, it was actually really interesting, the mistakes that players make. I probably would have made these mistakes, such as not upgrading your legendary items right away, like thinking you have to save. His advice in this video is this is not a game where you save. This is a game where you upgrade right away. And then Scrappy did the other 5 tips. That was another good video as well. This is a big thing. Will there be autoplay? We don't think so. Which is really going to upset a lot of people. I put a suggestion in MFR suggestion room about turning off autoplay. No one liked it. And this is the biggest problem with Marvel Future Revolution in my eyes, or one of the biggest. They have several big problems. Marvel Future Revolution isn't a game you play. It's a game you watch. You just turn on the auto and you go. You watch and you spend. And that's not a game. We don't have fun with that. And I found this out because I was trying to get some of the old players we used to play with in MFR to come back. And they did for a bit, and they're like, I just can't get back into it. You just watch it. And, you know, Echo talks about the pros and cons of autoplay in mobile games. And I have to agree that any game is so much better without autoplay. The only thing I could potentially see autoplay be used for is campaign. But any kind of side quest, any other game mode, farming, I think farming should definitely not be done on auto, because when farming is done on auto, it's like 4 times more time intensive than if it's not done on auto, because you don't have to do anything, versus not having auto, you actually have to farm yourself. So I really like the fact that we have not seen autoplay in Diablo Immortal, and really don't expect to see autoplay in Diablo Immortal. Another thing too are bots. Diablo Immortal is trying to do certain things, but they're really afraid of bots getting into the game. So by removing autoplay, that should help with that issue. Now, this is going to be the store. So I did take this from a video, and I'm sorry I didn't actually post the address for the video here, but this is going to be the store. So this is one thing I want you to take with a grain of salt, because this was one part of the feedback from the beta, was there was too much spending in it. So they were taking that back and trying to adjust this economy that they have set up. The big takeaways from the store are going to be the legendary crests. The legendary crests, you're going to buy them. You're going to invite some players in, because whoever paid for that is going to get a legendary gear item. However, people who didn't pay and are just tagging along for funsies, they're going to get shards, and they're going to be able to put all those shards together for spender gear. And that is going to be the big benefit for people to be playing with people who spend, and then for spenders to play with people who don't spend. So this way we're including the pay to play and the free to play in one cohesive economy. I really like what they're doing here. I think it is going to be very advantageous. The problem is when people try to put together full free to play guilds, I don't think it'll go very well for them. I think it's healthy to have some pay to play and definitely some free-to-play players. So I'm glad our guild will be a merge of both of those. We're going to be, this right here is just more of the currency. Right here, you kind of want to look at these stones as the specializations. So here you actually have to buy a lot. And I think this was one of the takeaways, that this was an expensive setup for specializations. We don't know if there's grindable ways to get these items, but these are going to improve your character overall. And hopefully you can pause the video and zoom in on this stuff. But I didn't really want to go over too much of the store, just because they're working on it and they're fixing it. And I really kind of want everyone to see a fresh look on the store that they come out with at launch. But for people who actually want to see store items, I did want to make sure that we included this. These are offers that you get when you complete certain parts of the campaign. Unlike Marvel Future Revolution, where they're $89, they are 99 cents and $1.99 here. And then, so the rumor is they are going to be launching the Blood Knight at launch. We don't know if that is actually going to happen, but that's going to be the vampire character that is going to be possibly coming out. So I want to talk about PvP before I get into factions. They are working really hard to balance PvP in this game, and really going to be making it where free-to-play players can actually have an advantage in PvP. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the factions. So we're going to have adventurers. Those are just casual players, mostly playing PvE, don't really get into the PvP content. We're going to have the shadows. Those are PvP players that are trying to become immortals. And then the immortals, the best of the best in PvP. There's only going to be a certain amount of immortals on each server. So everyone is going to be trying to get immortals. Immortals are going to be getting certain kind of buffs and gear from the Immortal Vault. However, there is going to be a game mode known as Raiding the Vault. This is where shadows are going to go in groups of 4, and they're going to try to hit and rob the Immortal's vault. And so they will enter into the vault, and they will be attacking it. Well, there are defenders in the vault who are just, AI mobs, and they are going to try to ring the bell, warning immortals that someone is in their vault and that they need to come in and basically take these players out. So right now it's just full on PvE. If those minions ring that bell, then the immortals are going to be coming in to kill you. However, if they ring the bell and immortals show up, whatever buffs you have stolen from them, get out. Get out as fast as possible so that you can actually leave there with what you've taken. But you really want to prevent them from ringing the bell whatsoever, so the immortals never know that you're in the vault in the first place. So this is what's going to happen. The shadows are earning PvP buffs. The immortals have their vault. And I'm sure there's going to be a little bit more to it, but this is what I know. The immortals are going to have their vault of gear and buffs. The shadows are going to steal them, which is going to tank down the immortals' PvP abilities. Then the shadows can go over and take over as immortals, and this whole process is going to continue. Another PvP game mode is going to be between the shadows and immortals, where it's 80v80 PvP. just massive mobs of people. I'm assuming you're not even like going to be aware of what you're doing. I can't imagine how this is going to work out. It does sound exciting, but that does give you an idea of how much they are trying to balance out the PvP. They're doing, several other things, but hopefully this video gave you a little bit more information kind of about what Diablo Immortal for mobile is going to be like. It sounds awesome, fun. I'm super excited. I always get excited for new games, but hopefully we'll see you there. Hopefully you join our guild. Let me know what you think, your thoughts. How do you feel about it? I know a lot of us are really like upset with games right now because Marvel Future Revolution is just such a letdown. But I think Diablo is actually learning a lot from them, and hopefully they don't repeat their mistakes. Thanks guys for watching. Take care. I'll talk with you later.